Hello and welcome everyone. Today's video features the brand new American battleship USS Rhode Island. Now the Rhode Island is described in game as year of design 1952 and is a battleship based on a 1938 fast battleship design variant featuring an alternative armament configuration. The ship's main battery consists of 12 356mm guns housed in quadruple gun turrets, initially planned for use on the North Carolina class of battleships in 1937. So this is the Rhode Island that is just entered testing, and this footage is recorded on the PTS server. Now we will start this preview by looking at the ship's armor scheme here in port. So we can see here fore-end plating of just 27mm, upper and lower all 27mm, not the traditional 32mm normally associated with tier 10 battleships like, say for example, Montana and Vermont. Aft-end plating, the same 27mm. The deck plating is 38, the upper casemate is 38, the side plating torpedo protection is 38, here 32 under the water. We'll remove that torpedo protection. The armor belt is 310mm, 297 and 163 below the waterline. The citadel itself, let's take a look at this. Citadel is submerged. Athwartship is 216, 297, 163, 25mm deck citadel armor, and here this central part is just 16. And here on the rear 25. And the Athwartship on the stern is also only 16. So it is well submerged underneath the waterline. The main gun turrets, they get a frontal plate of 406mm, side plating 249, the top plate is 178, and the rear plating is 300 on these gun turrets. So this ties in directly to the survivability, 74,100 hit points, and a torpedo protection damage reduction of 26%. In terms of consumables, damage control party, you get 5 repair parties with this build, you get 3 charges of engine boost. You have a choice between 9km and 40-second surveillance radar. You can choose spotting aircraft or fighter. See the numbers here on screen. Although 9km radar with 40-second duration is quite useful. So as I said, 5 repair parties with this build. This is the current build that I'm testing on the PTS server. I am playing with reload mod. As you can see here, I'm using the Halsey Captain. Ideally, I would play this with Brisk and get that additional 10%, because with this speed boost, this 15% speed boost combined with the speed flag, you can get the max speed up to 39.6 knots. Throw in another 10% while undetected, and you can get this Rhode Island moving at well over 40 knots. Well over 40 knots. So let's look at these main battery guns. As already stated, the Rhode Island gets 12 of these 356mm guns, 22-second reload with this build. Now, these have a 180-degree turning time of 33.1 seconds. They have a max firing range with this build of 21 kilometers and a max dispersion of 225 meters. And now, as of testing this day, the gun sigma is 1.7. Rhode Island can fire high explosive and armor piercing. Do the numbers here on screen. 4,750, 4,750 max damage with the high explosive. 22% fire chance. They can pen 59 millimeters of armor and have a shell speed of 861 meters per second. The armor piercing has a max damage of 9,500 with a shell speed that is slightly slower at 823 meters per second. In terms of secondary armament, Rhode Island gets 20 of these 127mm guns housed in 10 twin-mounted turrets, 5 on each side. These fire high explosive with a reload time of 3.8 seconds. High explosive damage 1800 max. They have a 5% fire chance. They can pen 21 millimeters of armor and have a shell speed of 792 meters per second. Moving to the Rhode Island's airstrike, you do get an airstrike, and fortunately you get a usable range, unlike some other tier 10 American premiums like Ohio that has very limited range when it comes to the depth charge airstrike. So 11 kilometers in range, quite usable. 30-second reload time, 2 available flights, 1 aircraft per attacking flight dropping 2 bombs, and these bombs have a max damage of 4,900. When it comes to the Rhode Island's AA defense, Rhode Island gets 40 of these 20mm Oerlikons, 40 of these single-mounted Oerlikons. You get 16 twin-mounted 76mm guns. So 32 of these in total, housed in 16 twin-mounted turrets. You can see the majority here on the superstructure. Here on the deck, and here on the stern. These 127mm guns, these secondary guns, are also dual purpose. So these provide an additional 20 of these 127s in total, housed in 10 twin-mounted turrets. These all combined pump out a continuous average damage of 489. The damage by these shell explosions, 8 in total per flak salvo, is 1764. The priority sector reinforcement is 35%, and the firing range is 5.8 kilometers. No additional boost, although you could go for the fighter option. When it comes to maneuverability, the base speed is 33 knots. Now, we already covered this. Speed flag and 15% engine boost will boost this speed when the engine boost is active to 39.6 knots. Add in additional 10% for brisk while undetected, and you can get this Rhode Island to well over 40 knots in speed. Turning circle radius of 890 meters. Rudder shift time of 16.5 seconds with this build. Now I am using the prop mod. You could reduce this down to 13.2 seconds rudder shift time. So finally, stats wise, this gets a concealment rating of 48, meaning that Rhode Island will be surface detected at 13.3 kilometers. And this is with a full stealth build using concealment system and the Captain Skill Concealment Expert. You will be detected then by enemy submarines at 9.2 kilometers and enemy aircraft at 9.2 kilometers, the same detection range. So this is the USS Rhode Island. There is an additional camouflage here, or a color, a darker navy blue. So this is the Rhode Island, everyone, that has just entered testing. Tier 10 American battleship, pictured here in the Hawaii port of Pearl Harbor, USS Rhode Island. So I hope you enjoyed this little preview of what is now being tested. If you'd like to see some live gameplay, feel free to come over and visit me on Twitch. You can see the link here on screen. I look forward to seeing you all. I'd like to thank you once again all for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more. Take a moment to check out some of my most recent videos and leave a comment below. And until the next time, keep sailing it like you stole it.